everyone, Maddie here with Golden Valley Parks and Rec, bringing you this week's homework activity. With Earth Day being tomorrow, we are going to be making a recycled t-shirt headband. Definitely reuses some of those things that you probably have laying around the house. So it's pretty easy to make. All you're going to need is a hair binder, some old t-shirts. I'm using 3 different colors, but feel free to use 2 of the same, 1 of a different color, and you'll have like a nice little strand of color. And then you're gonna need scissors. So first step is you are going to cut some fabric off the t-shirt so that you get something that looks like this. When you do it, what you want to make sure of is that it measures the length of your head, because remember, it's going to be a headband in the end. So if I sit like this and do it, I want to make sure I have a little bit extra because I'm going to tie it on both ends. So I'm probably going to cut mine about here. Remember, it's easier to have extra left over and be able to trim it versus not having enough. So with that, I now have 1. I need 2 others because I'm going to end up braiding them. So I'm going to cut my other 2 t-shirts and then we'll get started on the next step. Okay, so I have my 3 strings of t-shirt. I know it's a little bit hard to see in the time-lapse video, but ultimately they just need to be, they can be however thick you want them to be. I want mine to be more thin and neat. So I did make mine a little less wide, and as you see, they kind of curl up anyways. But feel free to make it as wide or as narrow of strings as you want. And then I tried to avoid the edge of the t-shirts. I kind of got it in the gray one, but it will potentially show in your headband. So make sure you either just use like a middle section. Otherwise, if you like the edge of your t-shirt, use that as well. So from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start braiding. So what you're gonna do is decide which order you want them in, and then you're going to tie them onto your ponytail. My opinion, this is the hardest part of it. So I'm gonna do that, and you're gonna do it for all 3. So I have 1 tied on nice and tight. I'm gonna do my gray one now, trying to avoid or try to get it on as tight as possible. And if you have some at the top, that's okay. You can always cut it at the end. There's 2 and 3. Okay, so I have them on, they're tied. Now comes the braiding part. If you want to, you can put your ponytail holder onto a doorknob. Sometimes people find that easier. Otherwise, you can also tape it down. I am just gonna try braiding without any of that. We'll see how this goes. And if you need a refresher on how to braid, I recommend looking it up on YouTube because I'm not the best braider. Or asking an adult for help, of course. But from here, you're just going to braid all 3 of them together. Again, I'm trying to make mine as tight as possible. We'll see how that goes though. Oops. Okay, so I've kind of reached about the end for me. I want to make sure that I leave enough room so that I can tie them onto the other side. So I left about this much room. We'll kind of see how that goes. Again, feel free to do it based on what your preference is. I will notice or point out that the t-shirt is definitely a little stretchy, so that should also help as well. So from here, you're just going to tie each of the ends on to the end, kind of across from where you tied the other ones. Okay, so have that like that. Now comes the true test of trying it on. So I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna make sure I have the pretty side where I want it. And there is your headband. I'm gonna take this off for a second. So one thing you can do is I'm gonna trim all these edges here so it's a little less crazy. I guess that one's pretty good, but I'm gonna trim these. And then another thing that you can do if you really want to go an extra step is you can take an old piece of shirt, probably one that you cut. Here, actually, let me cut these first. It'll make more sense then. Okay, so this looks a little bit better now. They're all kind of tied on there. This is getting a little crazy. But what you can do is you can take a piece of your shirt, cut it, and use a hot glue gun to, well, of course this is too long, but you would just hot glue gun it like that so it looks like a little bit more put together at the end. Doesn't help that that's kind of sticking out, but it gives it more of a finished look, if you will. So that is your recycled t-shirt headband. Again, a nice little craft for Earth Day, reusing what you got around the house. If you make it, would love to see what colors you go with and how yours turns out. And hope you, as you head outside, as the weather gets warmer, you got a new headband to keep your hair out of your face. We'll see you again next week.